Welcome to the Graybeard Chronicles podcast. Your hosts, Brian Halstead and Kevin Harkins, are two gray-bearded patriots who love God, their family and friends, and their country. The Graybeards are here to inspire, inform, and educate you on a myriad of topics they are passionate about. Brian and Kevin have a strong desire to share this with you to help you live your best life. Sit back and enjoy this amazing podcast as the Graybeards pass along the wisdom of the ages.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. I'm Brian Halstead.
And I'm Kevin Harkins.
And Kevin, we're here to pass along some wisdom of the ages. What the heck does that mean?
We're not perfect, but we do have gray beards. And that means we've got some significant life experience, some life lessons, and some perspectives that are worthy of passing along.
Well, I think that sums it up nicely. Let's get to it. Kevin, what's going on, sir? How are you?
Hello, Bryant. I am doing great. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Feeling good. I don't know. I'm not looking as good as you are, though, man. I just was noticing this when we were listening to the pre-recorded stuff. You're looking pretty squared away, like you went to the groomers here recently or something. You got it going on.
Well, actually, I didn't go to the groomers, but I did clean up quite a bit yesterday because we had the Coast Guard ball to go to last night, and up in DC. Actually,
Wow, I didn't know Coast Guard had balls.
Yes. Pun intended, right?
Yeah, that just reminds me of an old joke, but yeah, that was funny. That's cool. That was so. What's the birthday of the Coast Guard?
It's actually August 4th.
Okay, I thought it was a little while ago, so we're a little behind.
Yeah, but this was the first. So every year, the Coast Guard Foundation has a major ball. It's just a celebration of the Coast Guard. Every year is a different theme, but they haven't had it in 3 years, I think, because of the whole COVID thing. And this was the first one that they came back with it. I have not been to it in probably 20, 25 years. And I took Paula to it last night. It's black tie tuxedo. It's a very, very nice event. So I had to clean up for that. And there you go.
Gotcha. Well, you're looking good. Looking good. Yeah, that joke I was talking about, the balls thing, right?
Yeah.
And you can insert any department here, but ultimately it was a joke on like a state trooper pulls over a guy for speeding, and the trooper asks the guy, "Do you know why I stopped you?" And he said, "Yeah, you're probably trying to sell me tickets to your ball." And he said, "Sir, XYZ troopers don't have balls."
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So anyways, that was the source of that.
Got it. And here we are, man. I think we're on the hot and humid day today, but I think we don't have many of those left before we start cooling off.
Yeah, it's Virginia. It's going to do one of those things. It's going to start to act like fall, and then it's going to go back to summer, and then it's going to act like winter, and then it's going to go back to summer, and then actual fall will arrive. And yeah, it's part of what we love about the weather in Virginia.
That's right. Just wait a minute.
That's right.
It'll be different.
Cool.
Yeah.
We are remote once again. I'm starting to think you don't like me anymore, man.
I do like you. We're obviously recording in an off time.
Right.
Both of us have events we got going on, and this just makes it easier to get it done this week. So
I understand, man. And there's more of that coming, right? So just scheduling stuff
coming.
going on. We might have to do a couple of more of these here in the near future.
Right. Exactly.
Technology bails us out.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it, actually. I love that we can do it this way. It's just makes it that you can record any day, anywhere, any place, anytime, and not have to miss it. It's good for us.
Right. Yeah, because so we can stay, on that target date of every Wednesday releasing a new episode. So
that's right. That's right.
Yes, indeed. So what are we talking about today?
It was my turn to pick, and I decided to, and I about it because I talked to you about it beforehand, but for the sake of our audience, this might become a regular thing, but it might not. We'll just see how it goes. We'll see how we like it. But I chose to pick a topic that both of us could come at it from a different angle purposefully. So I'll pick one side, you pick the other side, and we defend the position that we're coming at it from, not necessarily revealing maybe until the end what we really think about it. But I thought that would be kind of a neat sort of approach to this to see, because there's so many things that you and I agree on, certainly worldview, and it's easy to talk about things. And this is going to mix it up a little bit. It's a little bit different. And yeah, I thought, yeah, let's see what we can do to come at it from a different angle. And well,
Cool.
Still pull out all the really important parts of both sides.
Right.
There you go. That's what I'm after here.
I think anybody that knows, I don't know about if I can say both of us. I'd venture to go that far though and say that anybody that knows us, either one of us, probably knows what side of this equation we stand on anyways. But it'll be interesting to have the discussion.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So the specific topic today is, what's more important, money or happiness?
It's a great question.
The pursuit of money or the pursuit of happiness? What's more important in your life? And since I got to pick the topic, I'm going to let you go first and tell me. And I don't know how we came to this decision, but you're gonna support and defend the side of happiness. And so, what's your opening salvo? I want to hear what you have to say about this.
So I think that as I shoulder the microphone here, happiness is the ultimate in my mind when it comes to living a fulfilled life, getting the most out of it, experiencing joy, etc. Now, you have to have a little bit of faith and take a little bit of a stretch here and understand that that is providing that all of your basic needs are met. And then once you get beyond that, then I think the focus is happiness, because more money may bring you temporary things, may allow you to do more things, but ultimately happiness is an internally generated thing. And you can have, and we've seen evidence of this, right? You see it in the rich and famous that, have more money than they know what to do with, and they're tortured souls on the inside, and they end up, taking their own lives, or, in an immediate act, or taking their own lives, step by step, by substance abuse and reckless behavior and things of that nature. So for me, that happiness is really the key. Once you get beyond, making sure those essential needs, like, the safety, security, shelter, food, all those things are met.
So the Maslow, the
Yeah,
lower,
exactly.
the lowest end of the Maslow pyramid of
Right.
hierarchy of needs, right?
Yep.
That's
Exactly.
what you're saying. Okay. All right. So that's it.
Well, I mean, I could talk about it lots more. But I mean, that's my ultimate position, is that happiness is absolutely the most important between those two.
Okay.
Once those basic needs are met.
All right. Well, I mean, I think you've shared some good thoughts. I'm going to come at it from the other angle, and I'm going to convince the audience that money is more important, because that's the side that I'm coming at it from. And although I will admit it's not a simple thing, and there are individual anomalies that we will find in all of this stuff, I think overarching sort of approach to it is, with the pursuit of money to a degree, you can end up having that manifest itself and turn into happiness as a result. It's not simple. There's a very strong correlation between these two. I know that there are those people out there who believe truly, and I don't think it's a huge percentage, but you've heard the comment, money is the root of all evil. And that's actually a misquote from the Bible. The Bible says, the love of money is the root of all evil.
Right.
And so, that has been talked about a lot out there, but there's a lot of things that money can do for you. Let me ask you a question. Do you think that people who don't have a lot of money, people who are poor, and let's take it away from the personal and into like a national level, Do you think rich nations versus poor nations are happy?
I don't know. I don't know if I can answer that question just based on that statement, right? Without having some additional information. I think it depends. Again, once those basic needs are met, happiness is an internal thing. Money is icing on the cake. And if you don't have a cake, then you're just going to be running around with icing all over you, and that's not anything.
Yeah.
That's just fun and immediate gratification, and temporary things that might make you feel good and won't ultimately generate happiness.
Yeah. I found a couple of studies that I looked at, two excellent business schools that one is a bit dated, about 12 years old. This one was from, I think, Princeton. They did a study on this very question, does money make you happy, or something like that. And what they found in that study was that nationally, on average, if you made up to like 75 grand per year, or more, then there wasn't that money wasn't going to bring you any more happiness. But it kind of is consistent with what you just said. And there are parts, if you live in a large, expensive metropolitan area, then 75 grand, you're barely making it.
Right.
There are other parts of the country where, of course, you're fine, but there's in the big cities that are expensive, New York, DC, LA, 75 grand, you are, maybe you're above the poverty line, but not by much. And so, yeah, so anywhere below that, there's a very strong correlation between having more money and being happier, up to about 75 grand. And beyond that, it sort of fades away. But there's another study that came out, and this one came from Wharton Business School, and this one is very recent, like within the last year, that approached this again. And of course, how you do these studies depends upon the specific questions that you ask, and are you leading people to a certain conclusion? But it found a much stronger correlation that even above 75 grand, the more money you have, the more happiness that you can experience in your lives. And let me get specific with you. The thing that money allows you to do in your life is, first of all, it gives you the ability to pursue goals that are out there. Maybe you want to go to a good college, and your family has enough money, and you have a good enough background to get into a good college. I mean, do you think the best professors in the world are teaching at community colleges where a lot of people go to? There's some really good teachers at community colleges, but the best in the world? Probably not. They're probably hanging out at the prestigious universities. And so the ability to have access to that, and if that's a goal of yours, you can provide for your family. You can provide for the future of your family if you have money. It makes it easier for you to sort of reach those higher levels of Maslow's hierarchy and in the self-actualization. It can help you buy things that not only that you need, but that you also want in your life. Pursuit of a hobby, pursuit of something that makes you feel good about yourself. You have the ability to purchase, and as unfortunate as it is, perhaps, you can buy better medical care because you have access to it. And so that allows you to deal with medical issues that you have in your life a lot easier, a lot better, perhaps a lot more thorough than somebody who doesn't have money. Better health means you live longer. You can give money away. I mean, think about the psychological benefits that a philanthropic attitude has for somebody when they actually give something. And you know this well because you run an 8A, not an 8A, 501c3, right? Charitable organization where people are generously giving money to your organization so that you guys can do the amazing work that you do. And they get every bit of much benefit out of that giving as you do in receiving it, for sure. I could go on and on with the things that money can do for you. And as you are able to afford to do these things, don't you see that helps boost your level of happiness?
Yes and no, right? So none of those guarantee happiness.
Okay.
They can create the opportunity, because I use the analogy of icing on the cake. They can, add temporary sweetness to your life. It's not sustainable over the long haul unless you have the full understanding of what it takes to make you happy. And I think, you mentioned Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You have to get to the highest level, the self-actualization level, where you fully understand, what makes you happy, what makes you tick, and so on, so that you can capitalize on things like that. Because you don't have to have money to be grateful and generous with your time. One of the things, well, we've said in our organization that you referenced, we talk about sharing our time, talents, and treasures. It doesn't necessarily have to be money. Some of one of the greatest gifts you can give people is your time.
You bet.
And so it's understanding those things that make up the recipe of happiness for you, and working on those. And once you have those in place, it goes back to, like I said, there's plenty of rich and famous people that have more money than they could ever spend in their lives, and they're completely miserable, and they end
Right.
up killing themselves. Like I said, in one act, or doing so slowly by abusing substances, reckless behavior, and they're just miserable on the inside because they've got all this external stuff. One could argue anything that money could buy, right? They just have never figured out what internal happiness and joy and fulfillment feels like. And, so the money's not going to keep them going. It can't.
Yeah. I agree with you that there is a very strong internal component that has to be there, that, right, people can, and there's many examples, and we've talked about a lot of them on the podcast. There are examples of people in the most dire of circumstances. The one that pops to mind immediately is Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, his book there, where this guy's literally in a concentration camp. His whole family's been killed, and he was able to figure out how to sustain himself and maintain a degree of happiness, because he just decided in his
Right.
mind that was what he was going to do.
Yeah, it's all about the mental aspect.
It's all in the head.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is, I think the pursuit of money has a bad rap. A lot of times people say, "Oh, he's just money hungry." That's all he wants. He doesn't care about anything else, or she doesn't care about anything else. That's not necessarily true, and I don't think it should have that bad reputation. I mean, if you have money, you can buy experiences. Here's another example. Let's say that you want to study the art of the world, and you have the opportunity to buy yourself, through travel, into countries that have amazing artists, and you can see their work, and it feeds your soul. Because we can look at it on the internet, and if you haven't seen the sculpture of David that was done by Michelangelo in, I think it's Florence, right? Is it in Florence, Italy? I think that's where it is.
I'll take your word for it. I have not had the pleasure of traveling there yet.
Right. But if you see it in person, it's amazing to realize that this sculpture was made by a guy that started with a solid marble, square rock,
right,
and turned it into that, just by it's amazing. And it's soothing to your soul, and it touches you deeply. And that contributes to your happiness. And so, there are people who say all the time, "I can't wait to buy my dream house. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to earn the money, and I'm going to buy my dream house." I mean, here's a specific example for you. I know you're wanting to make some improvements to your home, and you're wanting to do it because not only for yourself, but for your family. Right. And the plans that you have, when you're able to do that, that's going to make you happy that you're able to go down that path. And you don't go down that path if you don't have the money to do it. And so it's this correlation between wanting to help out, and wanting to feed your soul, and wanting to experience certain things that make the pursuit of money, I think, worthwhile. And now, can Can the love of money become the root of all evil? Absolutely, yes, it can.
Yeah, and I want to go back to that because you're talking about the guy that, you know, somebody's accusing of, you know, just they don't care about anything but money and going after the money and don't care about people and yada yada yada.
Right,
When that's the case, that's a problem. And
right,
so, you know, my comeback to that is money's a magnifier. Um, if you're a generous, giving, caring person without money, and then you all of a sudden acquire money, you're going to be that same genuine, caring, generous person. If you're an asshole and you suddenly come into money, you're just going to be an asshole with money.
right.
It's just going to magnify the personality that you already have. And the whole happiness thing, you know, like the example that you're talking about with what, you know, I've got going on in my personal life. Yeah. Um, will I be happy with the outcome of that? Absolutely. Is that the source of my happiness? No, absolutely not. That won't make me happier than I am right now. Not in and of itself. You know, I certainly will enjoy that, appreciate it, and the other things that come of it. But you know, it's not the source of my happiness. That
Yeah.
comes from a different place.
Okay, I understand. Um, yeah, and I suppose the last point I'll make is, and I'm starting to feed the same issue,
Right.
and that is, you know, we're business people. We know what that means. I've built a couple different businesses, and the the what are the right words? The gratitude I have for the ability to do that, the things that the success of the businesses have done for me personally,
Right.
all of those things feed this idea of being happy, and not only for myself, and to personally appreciate the accomplishment, but also the fact that you know that you're helping other people by giving them jobs, and you're helping them live their own lives to the degree that they can. So, and honestly, I didn't get into business because personally, because I wanted to, you know, I wanted to do that because I thought, wow, this is a cool challenge that I think I'd like to be able to take on. It wasn't to make a gazillion dollars. Not that I'm doing that anyway, but you know what I mean? It's just not what it's about. What it's about is, there's a hill out there. I want to climb that hill. And so I'm going to go climb it. And there's all kind of things that happen as a result, if you do it well and you do it right. So, and you're successful at it.
It's about adding value to people's lives
Yeah.
in whatever it is you're doing. Whether
Right.
that's, you know, your business or the relationships that you have. It's all about adding value. Are you,
Yeah.
you know, and I think that needs to be the mindset going into it, you know, in every relationship you have. How can I add value to this relationship? How can I help this person? And I think a lot of times people approach that in a different way, a more selfish way. You know, what can I get out of this?
Right. Right.
And I think it's important to focus on, you know, how are you adding value to people's lives? How are you adding value to the place that you work and you know the outcomes that you produce there?
Yeah. Yeah. And the intrinsic motivation, going back to your point about it's all internal, and I think it is, honestly, to the pursuit of all of these things that we're talking about comes intrinsically. Although some people are more impacted by extrinsic, external motivation to have them pursue things. It's ultimately, it doesn't work out because the external forces, as soon as they dry up, your motivation is over. And so it has to go back to internal. So anyway, it was fun to think about all this. And as I went down this path and started to think about all the things that the pursuit of money can do for you to enhance your happiness, I'm not sure I ever actually got to the point about the Wharton Business School study. Yeah, even beyond, yeah, I think I did
Right.
say that. Even beyond the 75 grand,
Yeah.
it's still improving your happiness if you make more money. And I just don't want it. I don't want it to have a bad reputation. You know, there are people out there who are working hard to make money so that they can do the things they want to do. I think that's great.
But I would also argue that those same people also know how to generate happiness, because I think the money by itself is not the source of happiness. I think they figure out how to make that happiness work for them internally, and then the money absolutely does make things better for them.
Yeah.
Opens doors, creates more opportunity for travel and experiences and things, all the things that you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I think if they're unhappy people and they have a ton of money, the money's not going to help them.
Yeah. Yeah. The first part of that point that you just made is really the point of debate. And that is it just internal, or is it, is the pursuit of making more money, is there something good? Is there something good for you and your heart and your soul as you pursue that kind of thing that does good for you, maybe even
Right.
changes you?
Yeah.
And so anyway, that was it. I just wanted to make the point that for folks out there who are listening and who think that the pursuit of money is a bad thing, and believe me, I know people, and they will go nameless, but I know people in my life,
Yeah,
who believe that that it's God's calling for us to suffer. And although I do think there's an important role for suffering in our lives, that's a whole nother podcast. But and to not be in pursuit of money because of all of the things that it can do to you that are bad. And I just don't buy into that. I think that pursuit of money is okay in the right context.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting you say that, because I think the pursuit of money and earning money, right, honest earning of that money,
Right.
Through legitimate and legal means,
Right.
can be a self-fulfillment factor too. It's there's a bunch of information out there about lottery winners and
Right.
how, they had no money, won the lottery, and they were completely freaking miserable.
Right.
Because there's a lot of other stuff that goes with it.
Right.
But the cool thing about any of this, whether it's happiness or making money, is these skills are all learnable skills. Excuse me. They can all be learned, right? So you can learn how to generate happiness for yourself. You can learn how to make more money. So this isn't, neither one of these things are things that we're talking about that aren't attainable for people. It's absolutely in your grasp. You just got to decide to do something about it. And there's lots of resources out there that you can use to dial up the happiness and dial up your ability to make money.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. The self-fulfillment piece, I think, is really key in human existence, because that's important. It's important to everybody. And so when you are going after something that enables you to buy those things that you want, to buy the travel, to buy the house, to buy, I was going to start with this and I completely forgot it. I remember very distinctly when I was a young boy, my father, who said, and my father was a high school teacher, so we didn't have a lot of money. And he said, money's not everything, but it sure helps you stay in touch with the kids. And it was an interesting little comment, because in our family, everybody, after they got out of high school, traveled to the four corners of the earth.
Right.
And if my folks wanted to, for years, if they wanted to see their kids and their grandkids, they had to travel to them to see them.
Yeah.
And so it just was and there you go. See, and did that add a degree of fulfillment and happiness to them, that they got to a point where they were able to do that?
Yeah,
I think so. And so there you go. It's so that really made an impact on me, isn't it? I think I was in high school when he said it.
You've said that before. You've told,
Yeah.
shared that story. Excuse me.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go. So to reveal my true feeling on this, actually, I think, yes, I think happiness it's a decision, literally every day. And all of us have said it. You think about your kids, and this is sort of a good way to think about this. Somebody said, what do you want for your kids? What does almost everybody say? I just want them to be happy.
Yeah. Healthy and happy.
That's it. And so that really reveals kind of what's going on in your head. I just want my kids to be happy. I don't care about anything else. I want them to be happy. However, if they've earned the money, and you're right, because you and I weren't born with silver spoons in our mouth. We don't understand what that, but there are a lot of people who are. And is that more challenging for them to find happiness because they have so much? I really don't know. I mean, people probably studied that. I really don't know, but yeah, it's a daily decision. You got to wake up every day. You have to decide you're going to be happy. And bottom line is, you're right. If you have those basic needs fulfilled, I think the pursuit of money, the pursuit of going after those things that you want, can be a very healthy and productive and important piece of your life. And so there you go. That's where I'm coming down.
Yeah, and I don't want to live my life without either one of them.
There you go. There you go. That's a great summary right there.
I think they're both very important.
Yep.
If I had to pick, my side of the argument is my belief, right? So I absolutely believe that happiness is the most important, and at the same time, I don't want to live life without either one of them, and that's it.
I agree. All right, so we've come full circle, and yeah, that's what I got.
All right. Well, then I guess I need to reach over here and do this.
Yes, you do.
Great topic, by the way. No matter who you are, where you are, what you're doing, make sure between this podcast and the next, you take time to focus on your happiness and to enjoy the ride.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Graybeard Chronicles. Please subscribe so you'll receive notification when new episodes are available. To learn more about the Graybeards, visit their website, graybeardchronicles.com.